Visits are being set, offers are being made, kind words are being said. It's Wednesday. Let's talk some IU basketball recruiting.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. You are Locked On Hoosiers, the one and only daily IU podcast. We are part of the Locked On Network. Appreciate all you guys for making us your first listen every single day, wherever that may be from. I'm your host, as always, Jacob Rude. It's Wednesday. It's become our new tradition to talk IU basketball recruiting, get you caught up on the latest over the last week. One of the big things for the Hoosiers late last week, Derik Queen, one of the top prospects in the 2024 class, someone I am sure anyone that has been even a little bit following IU basketball recruiting has heard about, up to the number 6 prospect in the class. He has set an official date for his visit, and very notably, he will be taking it alongside Liam McNeeley, who is his Montverde teammate and fellow top 10 prospect. He's at number 8. IU is in a really good position with Liam McNeeley. We've said that a couple times. They're in a good position with Derik Queen, but I think it's important. It's interesting that they're taking this visit together. Ultimately, I think you could spin this however you wanted. Really good thing, really meaningless. However you would like to spin it, I think you could, but the two of them taking the visit together, the two of them being teammates together, I think that matters. It's going to be interesting. We have seen previously a pair of Montverde teammates basically visit together and come to Bloomington together in Jalen Hood-Schifino and Malik Renew. Could we be seeing it happen once more with even higher ranked prospects? Jalen and Malik were top 25 prospects. These are top 10 prospects. That is still to be determined, but what is definitely happening is that Derik Queen is taking that visit. It's September 8th through the 8th through the 10th, when the two of them are going to be on campus. So big weekend for the Hoosiers to start September. Now, a third Montverde recruit is setting up a visit with the Hoosiers, and Curtis Givens the third. He has visits scheduled with LSU. He's on campus today, starting today. Texas at the beginning of September, and Memphis at the end of September. He is scheduling visits still with IU and Villanova. I guess theoretically he could take a visit with Queen and McNeeley. I think you probably hit a point of diminishing return scheduling so many guys on one weekend, especially when it's so many important guys. So I don't know that that's going to happen. It would be really funny if Montverde just kind of came up for a joint recruiting visit on that weekend. But Givens is looking to schedule his visit. Maybe not someone we've talked about as much. 4-star recruit, 6'2", 170-pound point guard. Montverde is loaded this season, and I just can't get over the fact that the Hoosiers have such good relationships, such close connections with Montverde, to the point that 3 of their top prospects are heavily considering the Hoosiers. So really cool stuff, really exciting times for the Hoosiers. One other note for visits, Austin Swartz originally was going to take his visit to Indiana on August 18th, a little over 2 weeks from today. That's going to have to be changed. It's kind of a clerical thing. So on the calendar for NCAA, August 6th through the 20th is a dead period in the recruiting calendar. No visits, no recruiting, nothing like that. So he's going to have to reschedule that visit. He hasn't rescheduled it yet, but you could just push it back a weekend. But it cannot be on that weekend of the 18th that he was originally planning because of the dead period. So he'll have to reschedule that. But another top player in that 2024 class, again, someone we've talked about a lot recently, one of the top shooters in the class as a whole, number 43 recruit, according to 247 Sports. So a lot of updates when it comes to visits for that 2024 class. Really important class. The Hoosiers are in the mix for a lot of the top guys, and now those guys are starting to set up official dates to get on campus. So Indiana is in a good position, but they're really going to have to knock it out of the park. The good news is Indiana team intends to do really well when they get guys on campus for visits. That's the part maybe I'm most confident in. If you can get to a point where somebody is coming on campus to take a visit, I think Indiana's in good shape. I don't think they're going to let anyone down. Now, at the same time, when's the last time you've heard a prospect say they had a bad visit at a school? I mean, it's probably happened, but all you ever hear about is how good the visit went. So I don't really know how much that matters, but it is good that Indiana kind of has that reputation. So they're going to have a couple big weekends coming up. Derik Queen and Liam McNeeley early September. Curtis Givens mixed in there sometime as well. And Austin Swartz potentially at the end of this month. Those were all 2024 guys. The Hoosiers continue to be busy in the 2025 class as well. 2 new offers in the 2025 class. We'll tell you who the prospects are and introduce probably some new names to you here in just a few moments. First, let's talk about LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's very simple over at LinkedIn. You can post your job, add it, and the purple hiring hashtag frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you are hiring. They have simple tools like screening questions that make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and expertise so that it saves you time. You can get to the interview and the hiring period quicker with LinkedIn. And it's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1, especially in delivering qualified candidates versus leading competitors. So LinkedIn Jobs, they help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free over at linkedinjobs.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Big thanks to you guys for making us your first listen every single day. Tomorrow, everydayers, we'll have some football talk. Tom Allen talked to the media during Media Day. Shocking how that works. And had some interesting things that we will discuss in tomorrow's episode as football fall camp gets underway. Those that might have missed it on Tuesday, we did a 5 biggest questions type of podcast that are facing the Hoosiers and Tom Allen heading into fall camp. So it is it's an interesting time. Exciting time for those that might like football, even if it is IU football. Let's talk some basketball. Let's talk some basketball recruiting. A pair of 2025 recruits the Hoosiers have offered. We'll start with 2025 wing Amari Allen. It is a new name, as we said. Probably all of these guys are going to be new names, even for the groundwork IU has done in that class. These are guys that aren't even really ranked that highly. Not that that really matters right now. You're still pretty early in the class guys can take big jumps. But Amari Allen is a 4-star wing prospect from IMG Academy. And he's listed at 6'7", 180 pounds. As I said, number 64 in the class. I mention that because in looking at these recruiting rankings, occasionally you'll see a name that makes you feel really old. Amari Allen is one spot above Jermaine O'Neal Jr. in the 2025 class, and that's not even the only son. Carlos Boozer's two sons are two of the top prospects in this class as well. Cameron Boozer is the number 1 prospect in the class. Caden Boozer is number 12. So a recruiting class full of sons of former NBA players. I know Jacob Wilkins is in there as well. Dominique Wilkins' son. Kyan Anthony is in there as well. Carmelo Anthony's son. So my, oh my, are there a lot of sons of NBA players? Hey, maybe that goes in Mike Woodson's favor with having built so many relationships through the NBA. But let's talk Amari Allen. He is a skilled wing, again, in the mold of the type of guy this coaching staff has been targeting. When you look at the scouting report from Trevor Andershock over at 247 Sports, here's what he had to say about Allen. Quote, with his height, Allen sees the floor well. He needs to protect the ball better as turnovers plagued Allen at times for his AAU team. Allen also flashes potential as a shooter, although his three-point shooting numbers in Under Armour Next this year were not great. The bright side is Allen shot 75% at the foul line. Generally, I think free throw shooting form, percentage, accuracy is a pretty good indicator on a player having a good three-point shot or being able to have one. Doesn't always translates right away. Or, I mean, what I'm thinking is that Jalen Hood-Schifino was a good free throw shooter, wasn't a good three-point shooter. I think he's going to be that in the NBA. So it may not translate quick enough for the Hoosiers, but it does mean he has a form that is repeatable and he has success with, things like that. So that part's good to see. A 6'7" player that can play make a little bit, shoot a little bit, do a little bit of everything. Again, it's pretty early on. There aren't really in-depth scouting reports for these 2025 guys, but you can see the sprinklings of what I was going to say Tom Allen, what Mike Woodson likes to see in these prospects. Right around that same area in the 2025 class, Indiana offered Kai Rogers. He is a center, a 6'10", 240-pound center. And if you see any pictures of him, he looks physically like he could be in the NBA right now. And that's not even an exaggeration. This dude has some of the broadest shoulders I've seen for a high school recruit, and he's the class of 2025. He is a big boy, a powerful looking player and prospect, ranked number 69 in that 2025 class. Also a 4-star prospect. Again, 6'10", 240 pounds, just a big boy. And to that point, Trevor Andershock, again from Peegs 247 Sports, had this to say on Rogers. Uses his size, strength, and athleticism to finish exceptionally well around the basket. Also has a quick first step when facing defenders to beat opponents to the rim with a dribble or two. Rogers shot 66.2% from two-point range and 15 Under Armour Next games this spring and summer. If Indiana's looking to spread the floor out, give guys space to drive to the rim, dump off, create in that regard, you want a big man with some athleticism, some finishing ability around the rim. Rogers seems to make perfect sense in that regard. Again, I just go Google him. Pause this real quick, whatever it may be. Just go Google a picture of him. He's built. I think he could step into the college game right now and physically handle it. And that's always kind of a question with the Big Ten and the fact that they play like rugby most of the season, the conference season. Can you physically handle playing in the Big Ten as a freshman? Not everybody is, especially big men with all the beatings down low. In a theoretical world where Kai Rogers comes to Indiana, he's going to be physically ready to play in the Big Ten. He's going to beat guys up playing in the Big Ten right away, and that is rare. You got to be some type of physical beast to do that. So, two, again, new names to put into your mind, shuffle it to the back a little bit, but remember these names as the Hoosiers are making these connections early in the 2025 class. And again, these guys aren't highly ranked now, but there's so much movement that's going to come in the 2025 class. They're still very early kind of in the ranking process and things like that. Rankings also are very subjective, I think. So I don't know that it matters all that much. But again, Indiana's out there offering a number of guys in that 2025 class. We mentioned Anthony. We mentioned Wilkins, two guys the Hoosiers have offered. They're staying active. Obviously, there is Indiana product Jalen Harrelson, who is going to La Lumiere this year as well as a top 10. He's a top 10 recruit. So the Hoosiers have some early connections and relationships built in that class with some intriguing prospects and interesting recruits and high-level recruits. So I know there's been a lot of focus on the 2024 class, and rightfully so. It's going to be a really important class, but Indiana isn't kind of one-track mind on this. They are also paying attention to that 2025 class and making some offers as well. We'll see how those pay off. That's going to be much further down the road. And on the note of the 2024 class, Annor Boateng spoke about Indiana to Jeff Rabjohns over at Peegs. A lot of interesting comments. We'll look at some of the notable ones and also a cool little IU swimming story to end your day as well. We'll touch on all that here in a moment. So Annor Boateng is a top 2024 recruit that the Hoosiers have been involved with. They got in a little bit later than perhaps some of the other prospects, but they have made up ground quickly. Boateng is the number 38 prospect in the class, 6'5" wing at 205 pounds, 4-star prospect. He included the Hoosiers in his final 8, which also includes Arkansas, Auburn, Georgia Tech, LSU, Missouri, Ohio State, and Virginia Tech. Now, Jeff Rabjohns talked to him about Indiana. I'm not going to give all the quotes away because it is behind a paywall, and I don't want to just give away everything. I know some people might want that, but there were a couple notable ones I want to talk about. On his relationship with Mike Woodson, this is a quote that made me laugh. From Boateng, quote, "He gives encouragement. You can tell he's a great guy just by the way he texts. He always sends me these funny emojis when he texts. He's funny. You know he's a personable guy. He gives me a lot of encouragement. Before we play a game, he's like, go out there and kill it. He always pops in with encouraging messages." Sounds exactly like I'd expect Mike Woodson to text. What emoji do you think he uses the most? I'm going to say the cowboy hat emoji with really no basis. If a recruit is saying he's using funny emojis, it's going to be abnormal ones, I think. The cowboy hat smiling emoji, that's the one I think that he's using and getting the reactions from recruits. Interestingly, Boateng is from Arkansas, Little Rock Central in Arkansas. Why is that relevant? Kalel Ware from Arkansas. Not the same school. I think they both actually are from Little Rock, though. But not the exact same school, but Arkansas is not a big place. So it is not a surprise that the two of them, Kalel Ware went to North Little Rock. So it was not the same school, but the two of them do have a relationship. And here's what Boateng said on that. We're pretty good friends. He's in college now. I asked him about some of his schools because he's been at Oregon and now at Indiana. I asked him about his experiences. He lets me know the truth. I really appreciate that from him. He's been a big help. Relationships matter, and it's not just a coach's relationship. Sometimes you get a little bit lucky in this regard, and you happen to have someone on your roster that can directly relate to one of your top targets. Everything that came out of this interview makes me feel really good about where the Hoosiers stand with Boateng. He's working on visits now, said he wanted to do some in maybe this month, August and September. Things are busy with him, though. Both of his parents have PhDs, so expectedly, things are a little bit busy. So I don't think he has any visits scheduled right now. Based on the quotes and his relationship with Mike Woodson, Khalil Ware, the Hoosiers in general, I would think he's going to be on campus for the Hoosiers. So we'll make note of that. And whenever he does, knock on wood, hopefully schedule that official visit, we will bring that information to you. I want to touch on a little bit of a fun story to close things out today. Ahmed Hafnawi is probably not a name a lot of you remember. Some of you that might be Olympic diehards or IU swimming fans will know that name. He, earlier this week, swam the second fastest 1500 free in history to win at the World Championships by 0.05 of a second. He became the third man ever to win the 800 free and the 1500 free, the 800 1500 double in the World Championships. He also won silver in the 400 free, which is the event he won a gold medal at the Olympics. So a very decorated swimmer already who is going to be eligible for IU this season. The only person ever to swim a 1500 faster than him is Sun Yang, who swam a half second faster, but he was on what are now banned drugs. So maybe there's an asterisk on that one. But nonetheless, Hafnawi will be eligible for IU this season. He was on campus last season, but academics took a little bit of a backseat to his swimming success. So he wasn't immediately eligible. He's from Tunisia. So he wasn't immediately eligible last season. So he's gotten caught up on academics. He's going to be a Hoosier this year on the IU swim team. But as decorated as a swimmer as you're going to find at that age and joining the Hoosiers. So what a impressive weekend for him. And the Hoosiers add another decorated swimmer to their program. So that'll be exciting to note, pay attention to this season. Thanks as always, guys, for joining us on Recruiting Wednesday. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. Every dayers again tomorrow on the show. We'll be talking Tom Allen's comments for IU Football Media Day. Friday, we'll wrap up any other news we get from the start of fall camp this week. Follow us on Twitter if you guys have not already. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave a rating and review. You guys know all of that great stuff. Most importantly, though, everybody, you all have an awesome Wednesday. And as always, Elio.